fresh perspective, an unbiased perspective, different from those disconnected talking heads in the media. He's an author, a coach, a real estate and finance expert, and he's committed to teaching you how to win in any marketplace. Your host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, Brandon Rives.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media, providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. Over 50 show partners now with the Real Estate Quarterback Show, Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate. We're here to help our consumers win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
And I don't care if you're climbing that corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work every day. This show's for you. We're a consumer advocate. That makes us different in the community. You know, a lot of these other disconnected talking heads regurgitate a lot of these other opinions that you find on major networks and other things that the media wants to kind of lead around. And what this show is going to do is going to provide you the timely truth centered around these areas in life that can help you win and help you live a better life. We want to be your super connector here. And shots out Tampa Bay Lightning, big game this past week, and moving on down the road to the Stanley Cup again. And we also have relationships out there with Warwick Dunn Charities. Shots out to Warwick Dunn.
Warwick Dunn. Warwick spins to the 10. He's to the 5, 4, 2.
Truly blessed to be living in the best city, Tri-City area in Tampa Bay here, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater.
I'm somewhere sunny and 75.
All-star lineup for you today. This is Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks in studio here. Now, this first segment is brought to you by Hula Bay and Freedom Boat Club, the official partners of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Freedom Boat Club is a membership-based organization, 13 local locations where you show up, you take the boat out for the day, and you enjoy a great time on the water with no cleanup and no insurance and all that fun stuff. And what do they say? The best 2 days of a boater's life is the day you buy it, the day you sell it. So Freedom Boat Club, shots out to Mike Craig, and also Hula Bay is our official partner there at on Tyson down in South Tampa. Hula Bay is a great restaurant, waterfront dining, and one of the best kept secrets here in Tampa Bay. It seems every week we go, Jason, somebody says, "Hey, I didn't know this place was down here," just south of West Shore on Gandy, off of Gandy on Tyson. So let's jump back into this. Let's jump into this great content. I got some intelligent folks here in studio. I invited Shawn Yesner Law back in studio. Thanks a lot for coming in.
Thank you for having me back again, Brandon. I always appreciate being on the show.
Absolutely, a lot of fun. We always have a great conversation centered around financial solutions and some of the bankruptcy issues, short sales, all those types of topics that people want to kind of put to the back burner sometimes, but we're going to bring it to the forefront and help you live a better life. And also have Jim Wimsati back in studio here, or first time in studio, actually. Wimsati Law as well, personal injury attorney. Welcome back in, well respected in the community as well.
Thank you, Brandon. Really happy to be here today.
Absolutely. And Jason Sallman, our expert buyer agent, Crushcraft Marketing as well. Welcome back in.
Thanks, Brandon. Always good to be here. Today we got another edition of the Ask the Real Estate Quarterback, as well as some other news in real estate and business.
Excellent.
And now I know for sure I just added 2 more guys to my wolf pack.
Added 3, maybe 3 and 4. All right, here we go. And we're going to hear from William Crowley as well. William Crowley is our credit expert. We asked him to come in and bring some knowledge around credit and what these credit bureaus are perpetuating out there. It's sometimes it goes hand in hand with what Shawn Yesner is going to talk about. So it's a great time to pull out your smartphone. We want you to save these phone numbers in your phone. This is the Real Estate Quarterback Show's Consumer Advocate Hotline. Anything that you need financially related, I don't care if it's real estate, business, finance, right on down the line. We've got 50 different partners. So I want you to pull out your smartphone and save this number in your phone. It's 813-917-1894. And that's our Consumer Advocate Hotline. Also, realestateradiotampa.com is a plethora of resources. That's our blog site. And you can also see links to all of our partners at realestateradiotampa.com. Let's jump into this great content. Shawn Yesner, what you seeing out there, sir?
You know, it's some interesting stuff going on. There's a lot of activity in the court system in terms of bankruptcies. What we used to be able to do, a lot of people took out 80-20 loans. They bought their house. They took out a first loan for 80% of the loan price and a second mortgage for 20% of the purchase price.
Right.
What happened was when the market crashed, now the first mortgage is greater than even the value of the house.
Right.
Bankruptcy has always been a great tool to get rid of that second mortgage.
Strip that lien.
Strip it off, get rid of it entirely. Not only get rid of the debt, but also get rid of the lien. So when the borrower comes out of bankruptcy, They only have a first mortgage on their house.
Okay.
We have to have a situation, though, where the first mortgage, is greater than the value of the house.
Right.
Now, that's always been in a Chapter 13, which is a payment plan bankruptcy.
Right.
A couple of years ago, we started to be able to do that as well in Chapter 7 cases, which are liquidation cases.
Correct.
Then there were creditors got involved, lawsuits, appeals, all that kind of stuff. It's finally now in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. So we should have a decision in the next couple of weeks from the U.S. Supreme Court on whether we can get rid of those second mortgages in Chapter 7 liquidation cases as well as Chapter 13 cases. And that applies also to association liens,
Yes.
judgment liens, any other type of lien against the house. If it's something other than the first mortgage, we can probably get rid of it using a bankruptcy.
Now, I want you to pull out your crystal ball and let us know what you think is going to happen here.
Yeah, trying to interpret what the U.S. Supreme Court's going to do. I have a hard enough time trying to figure out what I'm going to do on a daily basis.
Yeah, right.
Much less the U.S. Supreme Court. I think the arguments are sound in favor of getting rid of the second mortgages.
Yeah, you'd think so. I mean, you think about what happened. We had this global financial meltdown. Anthony Robbins just wrote a book talking about, a lot of outcry from the financial sector about it. But basically, he's telling the truth. Hey, listen, we had these bureaucrats, we had these bankers colluding and essentially, paying these CEOs, getting away with these $1 million bonuses as they're on their way out for doing what they did, perpetuating this problem. So now that this common layperson that has a home that bought it the wrong time, basically it's all about timing. When you bought, you got this certain window. If you bought the property in that certain window, you're dealing with these issues. It's not that you're a bad person. It's not that any of that happened. So it's just really, I hope this is favorable for the American people.
Yeah, the problem with the Supreme Court is then politics factor in a lot.
Yes.
And all of those other issues are swirling around. I think the logic of getting rid of those second mortgages and other inferior liens, I think the logic is sound. Especially as a debtor's attorney, I love the logic behind it.
Right.
My hope is that the Supreme Court comes back and agrees with what some of the higher appellate courts down the chain have said, and that we can continue to get rid of these mortgages in bankruptcy. We'll have to wait. We expect a decision in the next couple of weeks.
Right. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Again, you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. I've got Shawn Yesner. He's a well-respected attorney here in town, yesnerlaw.com. And we're talking about, the things that are affecting your life as a consumer advocate here in Tampa Bay. Number one goal is to help you win and ultimately position you in a way that you can take control of your life. A lot of times people push these things down the road, these issues, they're in the back of your mind. But, how well can you focus on your work or your kids' lives? When you have these issues in the back of your mind. So we want you to, reach out and take advantage of this consumer advocate platform that we've established here. 2 years now, going strong here in the Tampa Bay market, really growing as well our sphere of influence. And so, yeah, it's just one of these things, Shawn. A lot of times people put more plan in their vacation plans, and maybe rightfully so. Hey, they want to get that escape from life. But, hey, this is some serious stuff we're talking about, bankruptcy and debt.
Bankruptcy carries a big stigma, and that's something that I have to overcome a lot with clients that come in that have questions about bankruptcy, is the stigma of filing bankruptcy.
Right.
Although it's public record, no one really sees it. The only people that are ever going to know that this person filed bankruptcy are me, the trustee, and whatever creditors we have to notify. Other than that, no one really knows. Employers don't have to know. And at the same time, it can be used as a great tool. It was designed to get rid of debtor prison so no one can go to jail for not paying their debts.
Exactly.
And give people that fresh start. Now, whether it's a payment plan or a liquidation depends on the circumstances. But at the end of the day, that borrower walks away from bankruptcy court with a fresh start. I had one of my best success stories with a bankruptcy. Husband and wife couple. Husband was an agent. The wife had a bookkeeping business. They had to file bankruptcy.
Yep.
Within 2 years, after filing the bankruptcy, still completely debt-free, bought a $300,000+ house on a golf course.
Yep.
The real estate practice took off. They moved down to Sarasota. The bookkeeping practice took off. They're now making a fantastic living on a $300,000 house on a golf course that's appreciating in value. it was a fantastic financial tool for them.
Yeah, I'd love to hear those stories, and that's something that this country was founded on those beliefs of no debtor's jail. It's that type of you can rebrand yourself, start over. Maybe you got into the wrong career, maybe something happened, and ultimately that was out of your control, like we saw with the mortgage meltdown and all that kind of stuff happening, and we're still recovering from that. Later on in the show, Jason Sallman's going to talk about some of the issues now with lack of inventory still. For you home sellers out there, potential home sellers, we want you to reach out as well. And so in the next segment coming up, we're going to have William talk about credit and how you can bounce back so quickly, in some of these loan programs that are coming back. So you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show here, Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about continue this conversation with Mr. Shawn Yesner, attorney Shawn Yesner here, as well as William Crowley and the credit issues that are arising from these types of situations. And also another article, Florida Realtors Tax Watch. Florida ranks 48th in the state tax comparison. This and more from our experts in studio. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. I go to battle every day to combat the nonsense in the mainstream media, with my #1 goal being to entertain, educate, and engage our listeners to live a better life. I'm Tampa Bay's consumer advocate and also a top listing agent with over 50 current listings, recently featured in Florida Realtor Magazine for the second time in the last 2 years, recognized for my innovation with marketing. So we want you to reach out, we want to engage, we want to help you live a better life. So fill out the form below and engage us. And my promise to you is that we're going to get back to you in a timely manner, and we're going to provide you non-commission based advice and connect you with one of our partners that can help you whichever area that you may be interested in.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Real Estate Quarterback Show. Platinum MVP Realty. I'm a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay, featured in Florida Realtor Magazine for the second time in the last 2 years. Recognized for my innovation with marketing, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate. Reach out to our consumer advocate hotline at 813-917-1894. And this segment is brought to you by Children's Cancer Center. They've got their gelatin plunge coming up on the 13th of June. Just about 6 weeks away. So we want you to check us out. Go to our website, and you'll see some information if you want to support the Children's Cancer Center of Tampa Bay. I just had some great meetings with them, and we just really want to raise money, raise awareness, and continue to perpetuate, our good guy status here in Tampa Bay. We want to help people. We work with HomestrongUSA.org, where we give away a mortgage-free property to veterans, military, first responders as well through that program for every 25th home that we sell nationwide. Shouts out to Homestrong USA as well as Work Done Charities. And so before we jump back into this great content, got a real estate roundtable discussion here going today. I want to touch on a couple of hot listings, just hit MLS, and actually just reduced here. 5506 Beeman Du Loop in Land O'Lakes. This is a $1.275 million property on gorgeous Lake Thomas. It's a custom-built high-end home, private gated community, boat dock, ski lake, beautiful property. Also have 219 18th Avenue in Indian Rocks Beach. This is a great opportunity to walk across Gulf Boulevard, literally a 2-minute walk, and you're across Gulf Boulevard on the beach. And you also have the ability to moor up to a 65-foot vessel on this beautiful property at 219 18th Avenue in Indian Rocks Beach. And I just listed this property as well. We've got 13618 Greenfield Drive, number 306 in Tampa. This is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath golf course view property, priced at $135,000. Own a piece of paradise here in Tampa Bay for under $140,000. Have an opportunity there. Again, beautiful city, beautiful place to live, work, and play. All right, I asked William Crawley to come in as well and kind of follow up to Shawn Yesner's talking about financial solutions and bankruptcy law. Now, I've got William Crawley who's going to, pick it up kind of where we leave off there once Shawn is able to, work through those problems with you, whether it might be a 13 or a 7, a lot of different types of reorganizations that you can do, many different solutions. And again, that's the goal, is we want you to reach out and help you with these different issues that you might be facing. So William is our expert with credit. He is a well-respected credit expert here, credit improvement, and not just repair. We like to brand that improvement side of it because, hey, we can all improve our credit. National Credit Restoration Assistance, William Crawley. Welcome back in, sir.
Hey, great to be here. I was going to call in today, but I figured I'd come into the studio, let all people meet me.
Hey, that's right, man. You're charismatic. Why not come in? If you're in the area, come on in. But that's right. Absolutely. So what's in the news now in credit? What's happening out there?
Well, just to piggyback, first of all, off of what's been said, I know we say a lot about how the industry is corrupt and infringing on our rights. Mm-hmm. We have to be proactive. If we're proactive, we can eliminate a lot of this aggression by the corporations and the bankers, et cetera. Not to be picking on anybody specific,
sure,
but the consumer, and I hate to use that word consumer, but that's what I consider us as. But
sure,
we have to be educated consumers, and that's what our program is about, is to educate the consumer, get us on a proactive approach instead of being reactive, waiting for them to do what they do to us, okay? We know what they're going to do, but are we doing what we're supposed to do? So I want to be able to let people know when they call in. You're going to give out the number.
Yep, they can text or call, absolutely.
Right. When they call in, we're going to show you how to be proactive and putting that promotional block on your credit report, and even getting those free credit reports annually here in Florida. Now, some states, they let you do it twice a year, but in Florida, it's only once a year. But I'm going to give you all that information when you do call in. Now, there's a lot of companies out there, I guess you would say the expanded has anybody heard about the gigabytes yet? The gigabytes?
Something to do with electronic transformation of data.
Yeah. And so we should be wary of that as consumers when our information has been out there. The wider or the more expanded these networks become, the more accessible our information is. So
sure,
it's imperative that people have this promotional block put on their credit report ASAP and put it on your report and everybody in your family, friends, etc.
Yeah, the last 18 months we heard J.P. Morgan Chase, Home Depot, P.F. Chang's, on and on. All these credit breaches, Target, comes to mind. So the credit is such a major issue, and especially in the home buying game. We're going to hear from expert buyer agent Jason Sallman later in the show, but that's one of the errors that we see home buyers make is they wait till they're ready to go buy a house and they think everybody's lined up. Then they pull the credit and they find, oh, wow, I got all these problems. Then they run to a guy like William and say, hey, well, how long is this going to take to get done?
Down.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got to have you reach out. You know, the thing is too, when we talked about it last week with our reverse mortgage specialist, you have sometimes they use these Henry Winklers and these different spokespersons, but with credit, they have these guys jumping around like a bunch of idiots on these TV shows, commercials, and you know, it just makes me want to say, you know, shots out to the Sports Center guys, right? And
surely you can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Because what they're going to do is they're going to back end solicit you, okay? They're going to get your credit card number. It's going to hit, and then a lot of times they just plan on the consumer not seeing that it hit, and then maybe they get 2 or 3 months down the road, and then they finally see it. And then ultimately, you know, so what we want to do, again, we want to have you engaged. So we have a credit package that William's going to offer, again, national credit restoration assistance. We have a credit package that's going to teach you multiple things here. It's going to show you how, number one, to opt out of pre-screening, okay? It's going to help you cut off all that junk mail that comes to your mailbox and ultimately exposes you. You know, you're exposed in a lot of these areas. So also what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to obtain an actual free credit report. And again, here's a hint. It's not these guys jumping around on TV and strumming the guitars, okay? It's another way that we can help you here with the Real Estate Quarterback Show. So all you have to do for the first 5 listeners that text the word credit to 813-917-1894. Text credit now for the first 5 listeners who text in. We're going to give you this free credit package from William Crawley. He's going to show you all the ways to improve your credit score. He's going to have you sit down with him. Again, free consultation. You can come into his office, or he might even make house calls. I'm not sure about that, William.
I'll do whatever the customer wants.
Whatever it takes. I love that. Moving it forward here. I appreciate that. So text credit to 813-917-1894. That's our consumer advocate hotline, and we're going to put you in touch with the credit magician, William Crawley. He's going to take care of you and help you with all things credit. So, yeah, hey, thanks for that information, William. I really appreciate that.
Hey, no problem. Call on me anytime, buddy.
Absolutely. So, great lineup. Again, this is Intelligent Talk Radio. I've got some intelligent folks in studio, and making his debut on the Real Estate Quarterback Show is Mr. Jim Wimsati.
Yep.
Back in studio. Welcome back. Hey, really appreciate you coming in and joining our partnership here. And so we're kind of shifting gears a little bit, but we're staying in the attorney and the law side here. He's an attorney with Wimsati Law here in Tampa Bay. Again, well respected in the community, an avid networker out there. I see him all over the place out there in the community. So, yeah, welcome in.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad to be here.
Yeah.
So it's really special to be here. I've never been on a radio show before, and so I'm really enjoying it, listening to the talk, listening to all your wonderful contributors. They're great people.
Yeah, it's a lot of good stuff happening out there, and you know, again, the consumer advocate approach to this show is what makes us different. So I appreciate you coming in. We're going to talk a little bit about, you know, some of the changes going on by the Florida legislature.
Yeah, Florida's what's called a no-fault state. So basically, as part of your insurance that you purchase, you have what's called no-fault insurance benefits or personal injury protection benefits. And that's meant to provide money for medical treatment immediately. As soon as you get an injury, no hassles, no negotiations, you have that money available. Florida legislatures changed that the statute about a year and a half ago to make it so that you now have to seek medical treatment within 14 days of the accident. If you do not seek medical treatment within that 14 days, your benefits are completely gone.
Wow. We're going to catch more of that. I kind of ran us into our next segment here on the timing here. But, yeah, so you're going to hear more from Jim when we come back. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. I go to battle every day to combat the nonsense in the mainstream media, with my number one goal being to entertain, educate, and engage our listeners to live a better life. I'm Tampa Bay's consumer advocate and also a top listing agent with over 50 current listings, recently featured in Florida Realtor Magazine for the second time in the last 2 years, recognized for my innovation with marketing. So we want you to reach out, we want to engage, we want to help you live a better life. So fill out the form below and engage us. And my promise to you is that we're going to get back to you in a timely manner, and we're going to provide you non-commission based advice and connect you with one of our partners that can help you whichever area that you may be interested in.
right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. We really appreciate you staying with us here on the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com. And today we're talking about some really some proactive ways that you can help live a better life and affecting us. We've got some highly respected attorneys in studio. I also have Jason Sallman. He's our expert buyer agent in studio as well, and helping us with all things in that area, as well as Crush Craft Marketing, heading up the VP of our marketing division of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. So this segment is brought to you by Smart Move Moving and Storage. It's the official moving partner of the Real Estate Quarterback Show and Platinum MVP Realty as well. Also, shouts out to Joey Harper, Harper's Carpet Cleaning, doing a great job taking care of all the carpets and tile and grout. Actually voted #1 by his peers at a convention out in Vegas just a few weeks back, he told me. So great content here. Again, we want to help you live a better life and be your super connector for all things real estate, credit, finance, financial solutions. You know, a lot of opportunities to help you win and show you some money, help you save some money here, guys. So we got a couple of hot listings here. We got 5907 Sheldon Road in Tampa. Now, this is a waterfront property. It is $175,000. You got bay access in the best city, in the best state, in the best country on earth for $175,000. We've got to reach out for that. Also have 208 Crystal Beach Avenue in Crystal Beach, Florida. Great property here, close proximity to the Intercoastal Waterway. And we have a best bidder sale going on. Owner is very motivated at this property at 16230 Sea Pines Drive in Hudson. And it's a best bidder sale, basically a mini auction here going on May 16th and 17th for this property in Hudson on the west side of US 19 there. So great opportunity to get plugged into the Real Estate Quarterback Show and some of our listings here. So let's go ahead and jump back into that. Before the break, we were talking with Jim here, attorney Jim Wimsati, and we're talking about the PIP, some of the stuff going on, and some of the changes to that. Why don't we kind of recap some of that?
Yeah, basically beginning of last year, the Florida legislature changed Florida's no-fault statute, whereas before you had, after an accident, you had a limited time to go seek medical treatment and have your PIP coverage pay for it, and you had a full $10,000 in benefits. Now you have to seek treatment within 14 days after the accidents, or you absolutely lose all the benefits that you've already paid for in your policy.
Wow.
In addition to the $10,000 in coverage that you used to have, you now only have a guaranteed $2,500. If you want to get more, if you want to get that full $10,000, you have to go see a medical doctor, and you have to make a determination that you have an emergency medical condition. Your rates didn't go down. Your rates stayed the same, but you lost 75% of your coverage with the changes that the legislature made.
Wow.
So I'm seeing this a lot. I've seen clients come in, their car's totaled, they've been T-boned, but they're saying, I feel fine right now. I don't need to go see a doctor. I'm okay. They'll wait past that 14 days. Back starts hurting, neck starts hurting. They start having radiating pain down their arms, their legs. They go to the doctor, they're out of pocket for every dollar, $1. So I'm telling everybody, if you get an accident, immediately go to a doctor before you call a lawyer, before you do anything else. Go see a doctor, go see a chiropractor. Even if nothing's wrong then, and you get a clean bill of health, you've protected your benefits for down the road.
Yeah, shouts out to Dr. Doug Arvanitis as well. He's a partner with the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Pro Health right there on South Del Mabry here in Tampa. Does a great job. He's kind of the pros doctor here. Works with a lot of the athletes, a lot of the MMA fighters, a lot of those guys. You see the pictures on the walls, and does a great job with that. But yeah, it's very important, like you say, Jim, to you want to get in and get it seen and at least document your case. And I know that's some of the consumer advocate tips that we have coming up as well is documentation.
Definitely, documentation is key. And you go there, you see that doctor, and they make that initial determination. They start filling out the paperwork for you. They get it sent into your insurer. You're out of nothing out of pocket. So it's a free benefit to you that you've already paid for. It's part of your insurance benefits that you've already paid for. So get in there, get documented, and then you can move forward from there.
Yeah, again, you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. That's Jim Wimsati, Wimsati Law, WimsatiLaw.com. Tell us some more success stories. What else are you seeing out there, Jim?
We're having a lot of success right now with insurance companies paying before litigation. We're being able to get good documentation of injuries, good documentation of lost wages, lost work time, and get a good demand package sent out.
Right.
And we're getting people to pay real quick. It's different than it was even 6 months ago. The insurance companies were just not responding. You'd have to file suit no matter what. But the last 6 months, they've been paying quickly within 30 days usually.
Wow.
Yeah, they want to get that. You get a firm demand letter out there from a well-respected attorney. A lot of times you don't have to go and litigate.
Exactly. As long as you get good documentation and a good letter, you can usually get these things resolved without any litigation, which saves the client money on expert witness fees, filing fees, court costs, all that. All that becomes money that goes into their pockets rather than spread out.
Right. Yeah, great point there. as well. And when you think of personal injury law, you think of a lot of different scenarios. What else comes to mind with personal injury, and what other consumer advocate tips could we maybe throw out there?
There's a lot going on right now. A big issue right now is bad faith with insurance companies. A lot of times insurance companies aren't taking care of their insureds. So if you're somebody who hits somebody else, and there's a demand made and it's within your policy limits, a lot of the insurance companies aren't resolving that demand when they have the opportunity to.
Right.
So that becomes an issue for them, because then you're exposed to a judgment greater than your insurance policy. If they could have resolved a case for $10,000, they don't do it, it goes to court, and it becomes a $100,000 verdict against you. That's $90,000 that you're personally responsible for.
Wow.
And maybe you go talk to somebody like Shawn to try to get it taken care of in bankruptcy.
That opens up a whole nother box, right?
Yeah. And then what happens then is that the original plaintiff has to go after the insurance company for acting in bad faith to their insured.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the issues that's really been big. It was before the Florida legislature again this year, this session. They're kind of a lot of the insurance companies were trying to eliminate it or limit it. And luckily that bill was defeated.
Yeah, and when you think about personal injury too, you see a lot of advertisement out there, and you got the 1-800 Ask Tom, Dick, or Harry, all these different things, and ultimately it kind of reminds me of a LendingTree.com type scenario where it's a lead-based data system where they're just going to shop it out to who's going to pay the most for the lead, and it might not necessarily be the best person for you to talk to. We got a non-attorney spokesperson in studio here, Jason Sallman. Let's get some of your thoughts on that, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about, if you get into an accident, what's the next step? And actually, the interesting thing, and I'm going to touch on it real quick, actually,
sure.
For the Ask the REQB question today, they were asking, actually, via Twitter, we have Jeremy who was asking, you have all these, just like you mentioned, Brandon, these 1-800 call Larry numbers out there, and you don't really know if that's who you're supposed to contact or kind of what the next step is. So I'm sure, Jim, you could probably elaborate a little bit on what's the first step. If I get in an accident or if I were to fall or something like that, what's the next step?
The first step is to go see a doctor. That's what you should do immediately. Seek medical treatment, get the documentation going there. Then talk to people talk to people in your network, talk to your family and friends. Almost everybody knows somebody who's been injured, who's been in an accident, has something happen to them, and they're going to have good recommendations for you. They'll tell you who to go to and who to stay away from, which can also be just as important. So my first thing is go see a doctor, get medical treatment, and then talk to your network about who can help represent you in the case.
And then also, save our number in your phone. This is where it's a perfect example where you want to have this real estate hotline, the consumer advocate hotline, saved in your phone. If you pull out your smartphone right now and you save this number, 813-917-1894, we're your super connector. We're here to help you guys. We got your back on all these situations. You hear week in, week out of all the experts, all the folks that we're bringing on the show that are positioned in a manner in which we're going to provide quality introductions of people that we've pre-screened. We have to like these people, and we have to make sure that they're the best in their industry before we bring them into our network. So that's what we're here for. And if you save that number in your phone, it's going to save you a lot of confusion later. And then the other thing I would say too is pull out your smartphone while you have it out and take some pictures of the scene. Take some pictures and then definitely, like Jim said, you want to go get checked out.
Yeah, 100% take pictures. As much as you can document, the more documentation, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see it all the time with these different incidents, especially in Florida. It starts to rain, the roads get a little bit wet with that dampness, and then mixed with that little bit of motor oil or whatever's on the road residue there. We've got our fair share of older folks here in Tampa Bay, of course, and whoever we want to blame the driving on, maybe we blame it on some of the snowbirds and different folks. They're used to driving different conditions. But hey, when these different things come to fruition, we want you to have an alternative source here and someone that you can call that's a trusted advisor in these situations. So I want you to think of this show as the hub of your financial wheel, and each spoke extending out is representing another one of our preferred partners, the finest folks in Tampa Bay that can help you with these different situations. Again, over 50 different show partners, lots of variations in our categories, home services, financial solutions. We don't care if you have $100,000 to invest or $100,000 in debt. We've got a quality introduction for you, and it's going to help you live a better life. So that's the goal of the show. Again, we're Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocot, and we want to help people.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Win in every marketplace. So yeah, let's. What else are you seeing out there, Jim?
A lot of slip and falls now. They changed the slip and falls legislation where there has to be much more notice to the restaurant or the property owner that there's a liquid or a substance out there. If they don't have that notice, and it's got to be a lot of notice, then their case is getting thrown out all over the place. Once again, the legislature is they're really cracking down on what they see as abuse, but as I see as consumer advocacy, consumer protection.
Right. Yeah, it reminds me of the movie Friday or something where Smokey fell. One of the guys, how much you get for a slip and fall? But yeah, so we want to help you connect here. And Jason, let's go to our second Ask the REQB.
Yeah, and I think this question actually is going to be right up Shawn's alley here. But the second question is actually from Ashley via email, and she wanted to know, basically, I'm drowning in debt, and so I have no idea what to do now. I kind of feel helpless, and so I don't know if you can elaborate a little bit, Shawn, of what you should do if you just feel like you're drowning.
Yeah, I think the first step, call the creditor. Call the banks that you feel are burdensome, overburdensome in debt. Many of them have programs, workout programs, whether it's loan modification workout programs or debt consolidation programs. Then I think the next step would be to call an attorney. If the payments are still unaffordable that they're offering, call an attorney. And I know I talk a lot about bankruptcy, but I talk a lot about other ways to get out of that debt, other ways to settle up with that debt. If we end up going down the road of bankruptcy, then we need to know income and we need to know assets. That's the first two places we start, and that's going to determine, are we a Chapter 7 liquidation case, are we a Chapter 13 reorganization case, income and assets.
Yeah.
But I would start with the banks first and then contact an attorney to go over options.
Sure. And I think, actually, it's really important. That's something you touch on. And one of the big reasons maybe to reach out to someone like Shawn or like Jim, me saying as a non-attorney spokesperson, is you have to reach out to someone who knows what they're talking about. Chapter 13, Chapter 17, you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So before the break, we teased this property. Florida Tax Watch. Florida ranks 48th in state tax comparison, and it's all due to the negative impact of the Great Recession on the property and sales tax revenues. The state recovers from the Florida's general sales tax, and documentary and real estate transfer taxes are starting to provide more revenue. So you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. We got an all-star panel here, real estate roundtable discussion, all things real estate, credit, finance, estate planning. We're your super connector here in Tampa Bay. RealEstateRadioTampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. I go to battle every day to combat the nonsense in the mainstream media, with my number one goal being to entertain, educate, and engage our listeners to live a better life. I'm Tampa Bay's consumer advocate and also a top listing agent with over 50 current listings, recently featured in Florida Realtor Magazine for the second time in the last 2 years, recognized for my innovation with marketing. So we want you to reach out, we want to engage, we want to help you live a better life. So fill out the form below and engage us. And my promise to you is that we're going to get back to you in a timely manner, and we're going to provide you non-commission based advice and connect you with one of our partners that can help you whichever area that you may be interested in.
right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. This segment is brought to you by the Maids Cleaning Service. Doing a great job. You probably see their cars running around out there in Tampa Bay. One of the most successful cleaning franchises in Tampa Bay. The Maids Cleaning Service is our show partner. Does a great job on my property. They come in with like 4 people, and they're just in and out. Do a great job cleaning your home. Reach out to the Maids for all your cleaning needs. And this segment, the Maids Cleaning Service, we got 202 3rd Avenue Southwest in Ruskin. Now, this is a $215,000 parcel of land, almost an acre waterfront here. Beautiful property, an opportunity to build a dream home at 202 3rd Avenue Southwest in Ruskin. And it's a beautiful opportunity. We also have a commercial opportunity in Hudson here. It's 7101 State Road 52 in Hudson. It's a nice opportunity, business opportunity with real estate. So the great opportunity here is $500,000 reduced from its previous list price. And I've got a lot of other vacant land as well as a top listing agent here in Tampa. I've got close to 50 current listings. And we got a ranch here just south of Citrus Park Mall at $49,000 an acre. A couple of parcels on Tampa Road, just east of Belcher, west of US 19, and some property on St. Pete Beach as well that's developable, able to be developed there in St. Pete Beach. So reach out for this or any of your real estate related questions to our Consumer Advocate Hotline. We want you to save this number in your phone. It's 813-917-1894. We want you to save that number and also tune in to our podcast as well. We have a podcast out there on all your smartphones. You just go to iTunes and pull up our Real Estate Quarterback Show podcast. You can hear all the previous shows and see the different experts that we have with our show partnership. So let's go ahead and jump into this. I got another story here I wanted to touch on and elaborate from the Florida Realtor Association. Shrinking shadow inventory to raise prices. U.S. shadow inventory has been steadily declined. Now it makes up 4.5% of all U.S. mortgages. Now, what that's referring to is some of these properties that were vacated with either a short sale or foreclosure, some of these types of situations that happen. So that leads me to my next point, Jason, is as a buyer agent, what are you seeing in terms of inventory?
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of crazy out there. It's a desert, for lack of a better term.
Yep.
I have buyers come to me all the time, who are looking for for their perfect home, and it doesn't exist in certain circumstances. It's just there's not a lot of inventory out there, and so in turn, some of them are having to settle for things that they didn't necessarily want just because it doesn't exist. And so I think one of the big things out there, for all you sellers out there who are thinking about selling your home, you can be a looky-loo seller. You could test the waters and and give us a call on our hotline and let us know that you'd like to see maybe what you could get for your house out there. I think you could be pleasantly surprised at some of the amounts you can get.
Yeah, some of these zip codes, there's very limited supply, and that's the whole thing that we're talking about here. So what we'll do, let's go ahead and do this. Let's do for the first 5 listeners, we're going to offer a free comparable market analysis. It's a free value, basically an appraisal on your home that's going to let you know what your property's selling for, what the neighbors' homes are selling for, short sale activity, foreclosure activity. It's a lot of times you want to know what's going on with your neighbors' homes. Exactly. So let's go ahead and do that for the first 5 listeners. Let's have you text the word value to our Consumer Advocate Hotline. Again, it's the 917-1894 number here, Tampa number at 813-917-1894 for that free value text and let you know what your property value is. And if you're not a texter, you call, you leave a voicemail. My promise is that we'll get back to you before my head hits the pillow. And we are now entering our lightning round. All right, Mr. Shawn Yesner, you're up first. Things to do, things to avoid, top consumer advocate tips, sir.
I think my first tip is to make sure you're paying attention to what you're getting, either in the mail or the phone calls. Don't ignore. In other words, if a creditor is calling, talk to them. Find out what it is they're trying to say, and there's always a way to resolve the situation, but don't just ignore something and think it's going to go away.
Yeah, it's going to help you in the long run. Ultimately, it's going to help you at least be proactive and not just ignore stuff.
Right.
Absolutely. Great point. And consumer advocate tips, Mr. Jim Wimsati.
Don't skimp on your insurance policies. Make sure you get a quality company with quality employees and quality adjusters, and also make sure your coverages are adequate. don't get a $10,000 policy if that's not going to really cover your assets and what you need.
Yeah, and on that point, we got to plug JW Assurance. Jeremy Wolins is our partner there, JW Assurance, and he's our partner on all things insurance, property casualty. Great partner of the show and a top agent here in Tampa Bay for all property casualty insurance is JW Assurance. Jeremy Wolins, a great partner, longtime friend of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, almost a year and a half now, been partnered with us. And next up, Jason Sallman.
And my consumer advocacy tip today is brought to you by Crushcraft Marketing, and it's really for all the small businesses out there. And really, it's just one word: it's transparency. I think too many companies out there, you don't know what they're doing, you don't know what they're really all about. And I think it's important, especially on a local community base, to be transparent. Let them know what's special about you. Let them know what you're doing. To help them. That consumer advocacy out there, and I think that'll really help your business in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. My consumer advocate tip here is control what you enter into your mind, what you let enter into your mind. A lot of these young folks, I'm kind of talking to the younger generation here. We listen to these types of musics, these different things, and even older folks, we're maybe getting tied up too much in politics, things that we can't make a difference in. It's kind of like Stephen Covey, the late Stephen Covey, one of my all-time favorites. It's we all have this spirit of concern, things that we're concerned about, but what we need to focus on is things that we can control. It's your sphere of influence. Our friends, our family, people that we can help ultimately, reaching out, maybe volunteering. Again, Children's Cancer Center, a great cause that we've just partnered up with here in Tampa Bay. We want to help people live a better life and ultimately give back. So that's a great opportunity as well.
And on the Children's Cancer Center, they got the gelatin plunge coming up. And if you want to see Brandon get soaked in some gelatin, definitely go to the CrowdRise page, the REQB show, and sponsor Brandon so we can see him get covered.
That's right. It's what's that website? CrowdRise?
CrowdRise.com.
CrowdRise.com. REQB is the acronym there. And it's a gelatin plunge. You're going to slide down a plunge into a pool full of gelatin. My daughter got a kick out of that when we were telling her about it. But let's go ahead and do another round here. Consumer advocate tips, Mr. Shawn Yesner, YesnerLaw.com.
Yeah, thanks. Following up on the first one, at the same time, don't be intimidated. So don't let these people intimidate you. There are consumer protection laws in place where if the collectors get too aggressive in their tactics, we can fight back and we can take a chunk out of them in terms of damages and attorney's fees. So don't be intimidated by anybody either.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. Definitely stand up for yourself, have a backbone, and understand when they're crossing that line. Calling you after, 9 p.m. or 8:30? What's the cutoff?
Calling too early in the morning, I think it's 8 to 9.
And too late at night, definitely.
Too late at night.
Definitely, we want to help there as well. And Mr. Jim Wimsati?
Well, following up on what Shawn was saying, if you have a question or you have concerns, call an attorney. A lot of us offer free consultations.
That's right.
I understand that people have jobs, people have families. I'm happy to talk to you after hours, before hours. I'm happy to come to you on the weekends. I'm happy to do those type of things. So if you have a question, call an attorney. They'll talk to you. If we can't help you, we can often point you in the right direction.
Yep, that's Jim Wimsati, WimsatLaw.com, WIMSATT Law.com as well. And Jason, what you got, man?
Yeah, really, this is going to go out to all the renters out there, brought to you by Platinum MVP Realty. And it's, if you've been thinking about taking the step towards home ownership, give us a call. It really is the time. There's a lot of articles that are out there that are saying the rents are going up.
Absolutely.
And so, in turn, you'd be surprised at how little you can pay for a home in comparison to what you're renting.
Yeah.
I'm talking about more space, just a better life for you and your family. So definitely reach out to us here at the Real Estate Quarterback Radio Show and Platinum MVP Realty.
Yeah, you can pay less in a home mortgage than you can in rent in almost every zip code in Tampa Bay. It's a proven fact when you look at it. And Harvard did a study. The rents are rising, and they've continued to rise because of all the folks displaced, again, by what our great Washington bureaucrats did to us back in 2008, and these bankers, and the irrational exuberance is the best term that came from that.
Yeah.
But, hey, another great show. Thanks so much for everyone coming in. Thanks for you listeners out there, our P1 listeners as well. We really appreciate that. Check us out on the iTunes podcast. Engage us at Facebook.com/Real Estate Quarterback Show. And Platinum MVP Realty, Crushcraft Marketing. We got a lot of good things going on in the community. We're very excited about upcoming TV shows and things like that we're doing. So plug in, plug and play. Let us help you live a better life and engage us in any way you can at realestateradiotampa.com. Consumer Advocate Hotline is 813-917-1894.